Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Wanted to do a little weekend roundup while I worked on projects this week. So again, had a good time at Moore last night. Didn't pan out how we wanted, but had a bunch of good qualifiers, and the B3 is there. So yeah, but projects this week. So what you see in front of you, the Cougar. So did get some purple nuts, man. Those look great. Did get a new servo arm in, so the one that I botched, got one in, and I even got that in purple. Do have some parts coming in this week from Schumacher to continue to try to make this car a little bit better there out on track. Obviously, we got our alloy shock bottoms in, where we do have a carbon fiber steering brace coming, so we'll get that in. The battery brace was out of stock, so I did order the aluminum mounts, because obviously I think if you're doing a brace, the plastic mounts maybe aren't the stiffest, so I did get the aluminum mounts, so we'll get those in there for the battery. And then when the mount comes in, I don't know exactly how it mounts to the back, but when the chassis stiffener mount comes in that braces off the new carbon fiber battery brace, we'll get that in here to help kind of stiffen up the chassis a little bit, so there is a little flex in there. But we're gonna continue to run it. I did get an extra spare chassis just in case something happens to this one while we're waiting for the other stuff. But yeah, we're gonna continue to work on the Cougar and make that a track weapon that it already is. So we're just gonna try to continually to improve that car. As Schumacher has a lot of part support for it. So, and that's the other thing that got me thinking, we did our RC10 long arm giveaway, maybe for 1,000 subscribers. We're not going to give away this Cougar, but maybe we give a brand new Cougar. The exact spec is this, right? Same hop up, same everything. And maybe that becomes our next giveaway car on the channel at 1,000 subscribers. Let me know what you think below, but I think that would be a pretty cool giveaway, because A, you don't see that many Cougars, and B, these are pretty cool to bling out. So I'm happy with the Cougar. I think a lot of people know I'm fond of the Cougar, and I'm excited for those parts to come in from Schumacher. They shipped, I think it was I ordered them on a Sunday night, and I think they shipped them out on a Tuesday, and I should have them any time now. So the Cougar will be good to go, I think. And like I said, I enjoyed running that car, so we will probably run that next weekend with our Losi. So on the B3, just got this cleaned up last night. Not much cleaning up really needed, but just kind of went through it, made sure everything was good. There was nothing really loose, or, shocks weren't leaking or anything like that. Diff still feels good. Slippers set right. The one thing I did do, and on the video it was hard to see, is I did add some Loctite and nut to the back side of this, because I run the screws for the shock tower all the way through. Because I have 4 millimeters worth of mounts behind the shock tower, because I did not order the 4 millimeter spacer. So when you are running big bores and you are trying to get the angle correct, you need to space the shock tower forward 4 millimeters. And when I was on Factory Works website, I really wasn't paying attention. I was just so happy to find the shock tower and get it for the B6 mounts that, so I had to make my own spacers. And then, like I said, and it worked fine. I mean, I didn't seem to have any issue with it last night, so ran it that way. And like I said, just put locking nuts on the end, because one of these did kind of loosen up. So rather than it getting stripped and pulled through, just put some Loctite and some nuts on each side there to make sure that was good to go. So I think we're in good shape there. So other than that, I'm just gonna kind of continue to run the B3. I don't know really what I need to do to improve it that much. It did pretty well last night. I think I just got to get some more track time on it to see what we'll do. But yeah, that thing is that thing's ready to go. So got that cleaned up, and like I said, probably won't do too much with this week. Probably won't touch it again until the vintage race at Moore here in May. So we'll just kind of, like I said, clean everything up, make sure it's all good, which I think it is, and we'll leave that on the shelf. Our double X buggy. We broke out that front bulkhead in practice. And like I said, I probably should have not did what I did and buy an original bulkhead. The plastic's just too fragile. Luckily, the top deck and the chassis, none of the comb or the teeth got broke on that, so it just, the bulkhead disintegrated. So, did get some Subulatex coming. Got everything torn apart on the Losi. With only a couple laps of runtime, there's, not much runtime on it, so I don't really need to refresh anything. But we'll take another look at it. I am going to try to start finding some spares. Like I said, I may try to find some JC Racing long arms or some front arms for that. And I know some rear arms, and like I said, I'll keep kind of looking for parts. We have a whole extra set of bell cranks because we need the servo mounts, and that comes as a complete set. So I already have that. Already have some extra hinge pins. The hardware is pretty easy to find. I have all that. Bearings aren't anything big either. So it's really going to be maintaining it. I would like to find like some diff stuff. So if I need to rebuild the diff, I can get that done and complete. But yeah, that thing, just need a front bulkhead and we'll get that thing back out there. I do have a bulky body set coming. So we'll get that painted and this week, see what we can do. And yeah, we'll get the long arm out. So I talked to Jeremy. So it looks like this thing is going to end up in Michigan. So hopefully you'll see that at local tracks in the Michigan area. And so he seemed pretty excited. I know he's got a couple other vintage cars as well, but does not have an RC10. So I think that'll be cool. But like I said, I think what else would be cool is maybe doing a Cougar at 1,000 viewers. And like I said, I'm not going to give away my Cougar. But maybe we find, we'll get one and I'll hop one up so it's the exact same spec as this. And maybe we'll give that away at 1,000 because I really think this car is cool. And like I said, it's coming next week to Moore with us along with our Losi. And we're going to run these two. So we'll use the Losi as a primary if it can make it through practice. And then we'll use the Cougar as a secondary. And maybe run that like in the third qualifier or something. Just to see where lap times are stacking up with all these things now that there's a new track layout in. And it's like I said, it's a little bit more vintage friendly. Still kind of a big jump right before the finish line, but hey, is what it is. We'll get through it. The B3 made it, and like I said, it was kind of funny where the double X broke because that was not a big jump at all. But needless to say, it could have been cracking, and obviously I think that's probably what was happening. It was getting stress cracks in practice, and then went over that jump, and it finally gave out. So we will see, but wanted to give everyone an update. Like I said, had a good weekend. We got a lot of cars together, got a lot of content coming. We're going to continue to, now that we got the cars together, we're going to run them more, so you probably won't see too many more new projects coming to the channel over the next couple weeks. I think the next project I have lined up is the Kinwald RC10 because I do want to see how competitive that car can be. And unlike other people, I'm gonna race mine. So I want to get that together and see what that's about because I think that is a pretty race ready car. So we'll have that unless something else comes out from Yokomo. But I still got to run my 91 Works, and I think I will take that perhaps next week as a 4-wheel drive. With summer season, a lot of people run 8 scale out there, so the indoor season gets pretty light. So like last night, there was only 5 heats at Moore, when usually there's 10 plus, and you got plenty of time in between heats. And if you're wrenching on vintage cars, sometimes that can get tough to turn that around and race your 4-wheel drive. You turn Marshall after that, go back to your pit, and you got a handful of minutes to wrench, and then you're racing another class and then you're turn marshaling again. So last night would have been hectic. So I actually did bring our four-wheel drive B74. Did not run it though. So felt I was going to be spending too much time on my vintage cars, and I was helping a couple other guys out at the track. One had an RB10 that we were trying to kind of figure out why there was no power to it, and going through that. So rather do that than run the other stuff. So we'll see, but maybe we'll bring the Yokomo. I think that'll be just fine. So we'll run the Yokomo 91 Works next week. We'll bring the Losi. We'll bring the Schumacher, and get those things on track. But that's kind of what we're doing for the week. There will be a couple of videos this week on some updates as we get parts in. Like I said, as the Cougar parts arrive, we'll get a video out with all the upgrades on that, giving you an update on our Cougar, even though we got a lot of the new parts on it. Really the steering rack and the battery mounts are going to be the only big thing in coming from Schumacher, and I'll continue to check Schumacher until I see that that brace is available. And then, like I said, let me know your thoughts on, and maybe it's not Schumacher, maybe it's something totally else, because I was looking at it, Ultima, the green edition or whatever, and I thought, man, that might be a cool car to build. The only thing that's got me hesitant on that is the battery and how that would work, because I don't really want a LiPo hanging outside of a chassis. So that's kind of the only thing that turned me off, but yeah, who knows? I mean, let me know in the comments below what you think the next giveaway car should be at 1,000 subscribers. I mean, we are getting close to the 600 mark, so I think we'll get to 1,000 fairly quick. And let me know what you think, whether, hey, it's you want to see a B2, B3 giveaway. We can piece one together, I think, as evidenced by our B3, right? Fans making parts. There's more parts out there. Aftermarket support is pretty good for it. Factory works, like I said, that battery brace, that Halsey battery brace is pretty cool. So, yeah, we could do a B3, custom B3. We could do a Cougar. The Losi stuff is going to be tough. There's just not that much aftermarket. Parts are tough to find. I want to give something away that's not all clapped out. So, but let me know. Like, comment, subscribe below, and we'll see you on the next one.